do this, I oh,
Oh, yeah, that sounds better.
okay, so you can do two, I usually do two at a time, okay, so this is two sides. So what I do is make sure it's even, and then I get on my cutting mat, I'll put, see each one of these is an inch, and that's what you have to cut. The inch, that's this piece right here. So if you put it right in the square, and then you put your ruler from this corner to this corner, see how it's right here?
Just this right here, from here to here.
Yeah, but I mean, you can see the corner over here. Yeah, you can see. It's just right, it cuts it.
all the way across.
And then you just,
Okay, yeah, that's why I go, I brought a little template to.
no, I said, don't. First I used to do it like this, and I go, God, that's a big pain in the butt. And then, but my cousin wanted me to do it the right way. I learned this other
Is
trick.
this the actual
Let me take a picture of this.
Really?
It's just an inch, it's just a tiny. Right here on the bottom somewhere. Here, right here. You can't even see it. It's just put them together, zigzag them, and you make your piece. Okay, that you can do, or you can just do muslin, whatever you like. So you're gonna put your middle piece and you're gonna center it. Okay, I usually put this down nice and flat. I lay this on top, and then I just measure. Okay, it's in the middle. Then you make sure it's nice and flat, and then I just pin it in 3 spots. Okay, that's step 1 for the placemat. Okay. Step 2, these are all the pieces to this one. Step 2 is your first accent, okay? Whatever, which would be this color right here, or in this one, it happens to be the bright one. And you lay it out. And it tells you what accent you're to use. Right here, it tells you, these are 6.5, and these are the, I believe, 11.5. And it shows you on the instructions, if you look right here, and it tells you which ones to use. See? So then this right here is this.
Can you show over here too?
Okay? So this is what it looks like. And all you do, I pin it down, nice and flat, and you just sew all the way around 1/4 of an inch.
Oh, okay.
All the way around. That's all you do. Then, when you're done with that, see 1/4 of an inch all the way around, what I tend to do, because so it's, no se frunce, it doesn't get all, that when you're sewing them, I don't stop or whatever, I just pull it over, I just trim, I just cut all the threads, the little threads. So this one is step 2, see? Okay, this is what step 2 looks like done, already pressed. Then you go and you press it. So you press it. And it shows you on the pattern, exactly. You do the pressing. That's what it looks flat, see? So this will be, that's 1. This is first, that's second, and this is what it looks like third. Then it'll tell you to get your focus fabric to do your angled corners, which is this one. And this one is, I believe it's the first one I think it's 6.5. Now, here is where the little triangle thing works. And you put it in here, if you see, you just lay it down right smack there, just like that, pin it, sew all the way around, but cut all the strings off. Now, a little handy hint that I learned after doing this forever. If your focus fabric happens to be a light color like this is, and this is real dark, what I did was, what I was taught to do is just cut it off, right up to the 1/4 of an inch. So when you press it over, it lays nice and flat, and you don't have that extra bulk. And if you have a light fabric, if this happens to be light or whatever, you can't see it. Because sometimes all of a sudden, what's that big old dark spot, But this goes after the one all the way around. This is the next step.
You had a question?
And it's the same thing, 1/4 of an inch all the way around. What? Who had a question?
No, I was gonna ask you how you can make sure you center it, but I just folded it up.
I'll show you how to center it. I did. You want me to- I'll show you. That's the one where you take the roller and you run around it.
For the
big
roller,
piece.
but you can also fold it in four, right?
Yeah, yeah, you can do any way you want. I just find it easier because this is already my size to just put it down there, kind of eyeball it, and okay, if it's 3.5 here, 3.5 here, 5 over here, well, you know it's off. So then I'll kind of, but you can center it, and you can do the same to this. That to me takes more time. I happen to do everything quick, fast, and let's get it over with.
Or if you make a lot of them, you can do transparency too.
Yeah. You can, you know, whatever works for you, whatever works for you. So this is this little piece right here, okay? Then your next step after this one, you're gonna add the next focus fabric. And I believe these were set 8.5 and 12.5 or something?
Yeah, 8 and 12.
Yeah, okay. See how the focus is? The same, do it the same way. 1/4 of an inch, all the way around, lay it, but you're gonna lay it like this.
Is that,
Remember that the last piece is gonna cover all of this. That's why it looks kind of funny. But if you look at the pattern shows exactly what I just did, exactly. But I know a lot of times it's easier if we show and tell. You see it actually. Oh, that's what that means. Because when I first started making them, I was bugging my cousin forever, not this one, the one that's a real quilter. What do you call the needle Nazi? Does that tell you how she is? The needle Nazi. Man, and you better do it right with her, okay? Okay, this is done. You trimmed your edges off, because if not, the black will show, like this, you know. Press it, make sure you press every little, so it lays flat, and this is what your end product looks like before you put your backing. See? Your end product, all your pieces, and then all you do here is, I get my ruler, when I'm trimming it, I get my ruler. Here's my glasses, first of all, I can't see. I get my ruler, because these are all cut 2 inches. So then it's going to be 1 3/4 inches, and I'll measure it from here to here, and then I cut it.
So you have to add another piece though, right here, no?
That's this one. That's this last one. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's this
Follow
piece
the
right here.
pattern.
Yeah, yeah.
Add that.
Accent, uh-huh.
This is the last one.
And this is what it looks like then. Okay, this is after the piece is added, but I've already trimmed it. So when you go to trim it, just measure it, 2 inches minus the 1/4 makes 1 3/4. So all you do is measure from here to here, 1 3/4, and zap it. Oh, because it's the same all the way around. And that's what your last piece looks like. Okay, it's already all quilted. You don't have to worry about it, it's quilted. Then you get your backing. I don't have backing for that. I was just samples. This is backing to those. Put it on here like this, okay? Well, actually, it goes this other way. Yeah, this. Put your backing. You center it. Make sure it's nice and pin it down real good. Leave 3 to 4 inches. I leave it big enough for my fat hand to get in there so I can poke in all these little corners. You do the same thing. Leave it open, and you sew 1/4 of an inch all the way around, When you're done, you trim off all of this. You get it all trimmed, because this is all coming off. It's open here. I clip the edges. You know how you want to clip this. So you clip all the little edges, then you turn it inside out with your hand right in here, and then you can get your little thing to poke it or whatever you want, which will make your corners nice and crispy. Just a little bit, okay? And then the top stitching, I think the pattern only says to do this right here. But to stabilize it, I've done many different ways. This one happens to be 1/8 over. I did it so you could see it, but it doesn't make any difference. You can do a design stitch, a zigzag, anything you want. I do a lot of them, and I do a lot of them stitch in the ditch. I stitch in the ditch. But you can't see it on the back, but all it is the middle, and your edge. If you want to be like my cousin, the needle Nazi, she doesn't know each one. But you don't need it. I've done so many. My daughter-in-law washes them and washes them. And, you know, it's already quilted. So it's just stabilizing so that the back doesn't get all dorsey. That's all.
Beautiful.
If you have any trouble cutting, or as you're making them, maybe next time or whatever, at any time, just ask me. You know, I'll be glad to help you. I don't even need the pattern.
Olivia, that was really nice the way you showed the stage. That-
Yeah, well, that to me was the easiest way to show you, because like I said, when I first learned, they would tell me do this, and she'd say do this, but I saw the pattern, but it was like, I'm the kind, I'm a show and tell. And to me to see each step, oh, okay, why does that look weird, you know? And then how come it doesn't look like this? Well, yeah, you know that, you know, once you put the next piece up here, and then cleaning it up by cutting off the little edges makes it look nice and neat. And then and if you feel it, you can't feel all this extra bulk in it. Any questions, ladies? Perfect.
Olivia, I did mine already.
Oh, very good. See, she already did hers. Beautiful.
Oh, wow, yay.
They were easy, weren't they? If the instructions are very easy, they go step by step.
love your color choice.
I just, Maria made them.
Great color
I just showed you, so if you're not sure about
It
how to
doesn't have batting, right? You didn't put batting in it?
I use the thin batting,
Oh, the thin batting.
thinner than that.
that's all I had. But I mean, this one's real thin on this one, but you
Oh,
can
this is such a beautiful color choice.
you probably have tons of them.
Look at that. I love this.
So nomás lo vas a poner aquí el cuadrito. ¿Ves? Ahí queda. Ya te lo vas a poner. Entonces agarras tu regla y vas a